Coach, I have to assume you'll gladly take the dry cleaning bill after a locker room celebration
Sure.
like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that like?
Just happy for the guys. I think there's a lot of emotion when you play in an environment like that. Incredible environment. The job that their marketing, their players, their coaches have done. I mean, there was that lower bowl, nothing but students, and it was shoulder to shoulder when we arrived, 100 minutes before the game. Incredible environment. So to compete in that ambiance, I just think there's a lot of emotion after success at the end.
Does this team ever still surprise you, or is this just things that you just have come to expect, from them? They're down 12-1 on the road to a number 17 team that hadn't lost at home, and then to come back and win the way they did.
Yeah, I think some of it, to answer the first question, no, sir, I'm not surprised, but I don't mean it in an arrogant way. And without sounding silly, our guys don't really know all that stuff, They know Auburn's good. They know they went to the Final Four, but they're not sitting around maybe studying the same numbers that you or I would look at and researching an opponent. They listen to what we ask of them. I think what's happened in the evolution of our team, maybe more important than the opponent, is how we've improved. And we've tried to stay kind of in a very narrow lane relative to what is it that we can do to get better, whether that's in any category, special teams, offense, defense. And we probably are doing less over the last month or so relative to the opponent. It helps when they're a mirror opponent because they already kind of know some of it, but haven't overwhelmed them with the opponent as much as we've tried to be consistent in being prepared ourselves.
Is there anything more complicated than just the ball going in the basket more for you and shooting better than what your offense has been able to produce lately?
No, I mean, I think all offenses look better when the ball goes in the basket. And if you could have maybe one or two guys that can make more than 2 or 3 shots, I think that removes some stress. I think there's some level of contagiousness when that happens, maybe both ways. I think making free throws has skewed our offensive numbers in a good way when we can do that. When we don't do that, it probably shows in a more drastic way because we're not covering it up with free throw makes. But for sure, when we can get an open look, we call it a buzz shot, the shot that I would shoot. Can we force them in rotation? Can Nebo get an and one before the trap occurs? Can E-Man get an and one on a downhill drive? Saves adding that to his game. I thought Jay was great last night as far as making a shot, particularly in the first half. I thought it was the best he had played since I've been here as far as his mentality. So I think some of that is contagious. And some of those baskets, not a lot, but if we can force teams into an above-average turnover rate, can that turn into an easy basket for us? Baskets are so hard for us to make, and can we get 1.5 per half that is not a play? Can we get it from our defense? And some of that happened last night.
With JJ's energy and what he brings, do you sometimes want to kind of pull him back a little bit? Or do you like him going the way he goes all the time?
Last night was the first time I've ever seen him go like that. And that's not to be critical of him. I thought it was the hardest he had played. I thought it was the toughest he had competed. Mm-hmm. I thought his emotional level showed that he cared about who won the game, not what his stats were. And so I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but I'll never pull anybody back when that's the mode at which they're operating at.
Yeah. What goes into trying to be good at making other teams bad? You talked about that last night.
Yeah, it's something, Brent, that we've talked about within our team over the last few weeks. A lot of maybe tactical things, strategy related to what we do and what we hope makes the opponent different. I always let our guys watch the press conferences or read the quotes from the coaches after our games, so that they can see did we do a good job at that. And I think that's been helpful for them to see it not from their coach's lens, but to see it from a different coach's lens. So we haven't done it all the time, but there have been stretches in games where what we're trying to execute has forced an opponent maybe to do something different than what they're used to.
When you first started working out with these guys, did you have any idea that Josh would be this pivotal to everything like he has been this season?
No, I know you know this because we talked about it back then. You know, he didn't. I guess we had 14. I think we had 14 kids at that time in September. He rarely made it through a workout in September. I think we had 10 of those workouts. He would have been 12th or 13th if you were to rank them. And then I think he tore his hamstring the last Sunday of September, and then I don't know that he kind of was back going until Halloween. So not holding it against him that he tore his hamstring, but no, sir, I don't know that he's ever been in this position in his career. So I think it's new not only to him, but it's new to his teammates. And I think his teammates have done a really good job of seeing the priority of making sure he gets quality touches, but also how it also helps them. Some of that attention that he's drawing has allowed those guys maybe to shoot a buzz shot or get it downhill into rotation, and that's because of the priority that defenses are making him.
Can you speak just to his performance last night and the ability to get the points and play good offensively despite fouls? A little bit of foul trouble.
Yeah, I think it's the lowest number of minutes he's played in SEC. We're very fortunate. I thought Aku or Jay was the player of the game. Aku had 7 defensive rebounds, I think, at Tennessee, which was game-changing. But that's the highest number of minutes Aku had played, and that was because Nebo set a lot of the first half. And so for us to be in the position that we were at halftime was really good. And then I thought when he picked up his third, when he picked up his fifth, you know, those are critical minutes, whether we're at home or on the road. But I thought in the second half, we did a really good job of, no matter what the defense was doing, of making sure we got it to him.
You opened conference play against Arkansas, now you're closing your season with them. What has been the biggest difference in this team between the two Arkansas matchups?
I think we try a lot harder, I think would be the first thing. I think we're probably all on the same page, but most teams probably could say that. That seems like an eternity ago. What was it, the first Saturday in January? And so this will be the first Saturday in March. That's a long time relative to the journey that we've been on. But I would say, if I could only say one thing, I think we try a lot harder now than we did then.
Mason Jones has been kind of on a roll for
Man.
them. How alarming is that? And
How good is he?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure who will guard him. I'm not sure who in our league has done a very good job guarding him. He's just been phenomenal, and now that Juan's back, it makes him even more potent. And for the most part, similar to when we played them at their place, they're going to play not necessarily 5 dribble guards, but they're probably going to have more dribble guards on the floor than the opponent. And what they're deeming to be big are very versatile forwards that at their place, it put a lot of stress on our big. We only have, Nebo, because he's not guarding somebody at the basket. And, you know, a lot of all of that stuff that coach is running is all of the NBA pro matchup-centric, quick-hitting stuff. They shot 54 free throws last night. Is that an SEC record?
I don't know.
Man. Seems like everybody's talking about free throws, but 54 is a lot. 54 is a lot.
How much would it mean to you if the fans really came out and packed Reed for these seniors and what they meant?
Yeah, I don't know, Gabe, honestly, that I handle all of that in the right way. I know I talked about it at the beginning of the year. Everybody's lives are busy. People have things to do. Sometimes the weekends, it's the best time to maybe not do anything. So I've probably done a poor job relative to my position of generating support. I just, I want to be unselfish in my spirit and in my energy and what I give our team. And that doesn't mean that the fans or the season ticket holders or the students or people that want to jump on, yeah, we want all of you there. But I don't know that it's fair to our players and their parents for me to give away time that maybe I could help them as opposed to begging somebody to come to the game. If you want to come, thank you. And if you don't want to come, we're not offended. It's okay. And that's probably not the right thing to say. It would be great. And if it works out, we're thankful.
You thought about hiring the marketing guy at Auburn?
No, I think Coach Pearl, he was the mascot at Boston College when he was a kid. So I think he probably earned a degree in marketing just by being the mascot. He's done a great job. Whatever all of that stuff is, pass out donuts and take your shirt off and paint your chest and all the things that kind of generate some social media buzz. I think that's the way to go about it. Those fans are completely bought in. And I need to do a better job. I don't even know who's in charge of marketing at Texas A&M. I don't even know. I barely know Evan. So, yeah.
You guys playing for a postseason berth now, do you think?
I don't know. I haven't studied the numbers. My guess would be no. I don't know. I would have to look at the numbers. But I would say a lot of good things have to go our way. And we would have to do more than what we've done up until this point. That would be my guess. But do I think that there's a chance? Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a chance.
Do you think this team is capable of making that run in the SEC tournament?
You know who we're going to play?
Not officially, but
What is it unofficially?
I think Arkansas right now again, and then
And why is that?
and then Auburn if you
Well, y'all could be
We'd be the
seed.
7th seed, they'd be the 10th seed.
yeah
If the
7
season-
and
And y'all-
Say it again.
We would be the 7th seed, Arkansas would be the 10th seed if the season ended right now.
I know. So what about, since it doesn't end, all the things that can happen
So
on
we
Saturday?
could potentially be the 6 or the 10, depending on how other teams do.
Yeah, so you don't know who we're going to play, right? 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10? Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.